Are you all ready to join me today in our trip to outer space?
Come along quietly or not.
I will talk to you of art. For there is nothing else. Some artists make a hook. Yes. Let you bite upon it.
Big deal. What time is it?
Classy. And now, without further ado,
hello folks, this is Albert Shivers, and before we get to my conversation with my buddy Stephan Coleman, I just want to fill you guys in. First of all, this Friday at the Create and Be Art Studio in Strasbourg, I'll be part of the Where's Your Mind At mental health art exhibit. It should be good. There's all sorts of stuff going on there Friday night. It starts at 6. There's live poetry, there's live art, there's live music, and I'll be there live in person too. Also, you could find this episode and a whole lot more, not only on YouTube, but on all major podcast platforms. And the podcast is now also accepting tips, if you feel so inclined, on the Cash App at $ShiversArt. I really hope you enjoy this episode, and I'll talk to you on the other side of it.
It's New York Lottery's numbers and win for drawings, observed by an auditor from Coopers and Librand.
Good evening, it's Friday, May 21st, 1993. I'm Yolanda Vega. Now here's tonight's number. The first ball up is 0. The next is 5, and the last is 3, making tonight's number 053.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Shit, man.
So yeah, we're rolling. Let's jump into this. I'm real curious to talk to you about, a good number of things. But first off, how you been? We're going. Right?
Man, I've been good, honestly. Yeah, but I want to use my time wisely. And I still want to do what makes me happy, man. I mean, society tells us that we need money, but I want to be happy. And if money comes along with it, whatever, And if I can meet my means, that's the number one thing. So, and I'm looking for a job. Still on the road of being a graphic designer.
Nice.
It's hard. But, yeah.
How's Space Civilianaires going?
I started it back up. I dropped some teas. Dropped a couple teas. Just to see how it went. Got my... things back out there, put myself back out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm about to drop a collab with one of my homies that I grew up with since I was in New Jersey. He's I think he's my mother's godson.
Okay.
But we're grew up like brothers. He's a Jacksonville fan, like Jaguars, and I'm a Giants fan. So that was a thing that we still have. And he has a clothesline called Waffle. WAFL, and I actually have it on my phone. We always feel love. So,
okay, nice.
That's pretty dope. So yeah, we got that collab coming, actually getting made right now. So that should be a nice little front runner to get into August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt on that.
Absolutely.
So how do you feel? You mentioned that even the clock is ticking, and I felt that too at 30.
I'll tell you this. The 29, my last night, 29.
Yeah.
I got high and drunk, obviously. But as I walked home, I shed a tear because it was so weird. I had a flashback from all my 20s. And I thought about it. This is why you have to enjoy the good and bad times, because it's wow, that shit happened in a flash,
Yeah.
It's I did so many things in my 20s that is unbelievable. My 30s, I want to be more constructed, more disciplined, more mature about things. Because the more you get older, the more severity, the more consequences, For some reason, it's like that. So I'm trying to be sharp from here on. Yeah, the clock is definitely fucking ticking now.
Yeah, I felt the same thing when I think I'm a year ahead of you. But I felt the same thing. The belt tightened just a little bit.
You just want to, now you really want to enjoy every day. Now it's more like an enjoyment of life, no matter what happens. But also, I don't want to be subjective to, like, just going and getting any job or any lifestyle just to make any, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be subjected to that. So I'm still on the fence about that. I still want to be put in a position where it has to lean towards me being happy and towards my career.
So let's jump into, I'm very curious and excited to talk to you about how they created holidays to control people's emotions. So I'm a bit with you on this, but I want to hear your take.
All right. Well, it's just like, as I got older, I started to just like really try to understand what life really is, and to understand that, you have to understand how life had became. Like, how did this become?
Yeah.
And when you look back and think about America, it's almost like a mirage. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't see one good thing about America. And just in terms of the past histories, like, yeah, we make the history, but I'm talking about like what they actually, how they formulated America. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did some grimy, crazy, out-of-pocket things, right? So with that being said is, you know, we're in an era where things are getting exposed real fast. Things from the past people are able to go back to the past and bring these videos and things up and bring them to life. So with that being said, essentially, like, when you think about holidays, you think about, some people might think about family, da-da-da-da. But when I think about people saying family, I feel like that's an excuse. Because people want change, but they don't want to do what it takes to make a change. You know what I mean? So if you want change, and you talk about police brutality, or talking about, like, racism per se, well, you're subjecting yourself to join in when you join these holidays, because this is another way of America to make money. And on top of that, what I mean by controlling emotions, it's like Valentine's Day. Usually, you see a whole bunch of people post on Valentine's Day, and it's like what they got. But it makes the other person feel like, oh, well, if I don't have this, this is not what a relationship is, and that's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is absolutely nuts. So if you take these holidays away, you get you don't have that feeling of I have to compete, or that feeling of I'm not loved enough. Just that, you know what I mean, that emotion that makes you feel like shit. Yeah.
Well, think about all, you know, not to cut you off.
No, you could.
Think about all the kids. Let's say you're a kid in a position where, just to go off what you're saying, you don't get as much as the other kid. You know, this kid got more for Christmas than you got. You didn't get anything.
Bro, so that's why I stopped celebrating Christmas. I kind of grew up in like a Muslim household per se, but when I really stopped celebrating Christmas is when I come from a single mother, 3 kids. So it's like, you know what I mean, that's tough in its own. So I used to see kids get like almost damn near $1,000 worth of things for Christmas, you know what I mean? And damn near, my mom had to split up $300 each for each kid. You know, what are you going to get with $300? Not to be, you know,
you're right.
You know, disrespectful, but it's like $300 can barely get you, you know what I mean? Jeans is like $50 if you want a nice pair of jeans. You know, buy a video game, that's like $50, you know what I mean? That goes quick. So I did not like the feeling of going to people's houses or seeing people like almost brag. They're not meaning to, but you know, it's a thing to do. And feeling like, damn, I don't got shit. And it makes me feel so horrible. So when I realized, when I was like, let me eliminate this feeling by not celebrating it. When I stopped celebrating it, it was like a fresher breath of air. It was like no one can make me feel this way ever again. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's what I mean by them controlling you, because they control your emotions by saying, oh, Valentine's Day, this and that, Mother's Day. You should be doing these things every day. You should be cherishing people in general every day. It shouldn't take holidays to do these things. You shouldn't say, oh, I celebrate Christmas because it brings family together. Like, you should be trying to do your own holiday. Like, you know what I mean? Come up with something for, like, bring back reunions and things like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, they take days off, But like, this is why you rearrange your days that you do have off to accommodate for the holidays or the things that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Not the holidays that they came up with.
Right.
Because it's all bullshit. It's all about money. If we stop celebrating Christmas as a whole, America will be shut the fuck down.
I was just going to say, over 70% of most stores' yearly revenue come during Christmas.
Right.
And I remember when Dick Gregory was alive, he would say a lot of the time that with all the different things, specifically in America, we want to protest or stand up against, he would say, all you need to do for just 1 year, if we all boycotted Christmas, we'd have them by the balls.
It'll be over, bro. It'll be over,
just
bro.
1 year.
It'll be over.
People get so much pressure to participate.
Okay, that's
Keep up with
that's a
it.
perfect point. So I'm so different from people, bro. Like, I'm so different. So it's like a lot of the times when I talk and when I speak or when I start to speak my thoughts, it sounds weird to people. It sounds so crazy to people because I'm nothing like the normal standard. I'm nothing like the majority of people. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be that person to be like, there's too many people going that way. Why?
Yeah.
That's not a good thing to me. Let me see what's this way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the amount of people that's rushing to do this, there's no one going this side. You know what I mean? You know, so it's like, I feel like, yeah, that is some pressure that people are dealing with that they don't have to deal with. You don't have to deal with these things.
Because if you're tricked into thinking that the showing of your love is with, I have to buy this, and not a person-to-person thing, but a material thing, when you're tricked into thinking that, you'll spend whatever
just to keep up with the what quote unquote the standard is. But it's like, bro, they come out with a new iPhone every fucking 3 months. Why the fuck are you going to keep on? That's $1,000 every time on an iPhone for what? Just to say that you got it, but people don't give a fuck.
No.
They don't give a fuck. They don't care about things like that. They don't care. They'll say whatever. Like, this is what I like. I like the material things, but it's like, that's the problem. People don't give a fuck, so there's no point. This is why I don't really say too much or really try to tell nobody any insight, because they just don't care. So what's the point of wasting my breath? I might as well keep all that energy for myself, keep figuring shit out for myself, and the people that really do care and that want the insight, I'll save that for them. But I'm not going to keep preaching to each person that is speaking opposite, because they're stuck in their mind. They're not conscious of right now. They're not conscious of the moment. They're not really conscious of the change. They just want to be a part of something. And that's horrible. You should not just want to be a part of something. Because that's like, you can join a cult, but never knew it was like a cult. Like, to me, church is a cult. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To me. That's just me. And I'm not saying it, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's like, why would you need certain things like that to keep your spirit up, per se? You know what I mean? Because you can't have church all the time. You have church one day out of 7 days. Yeah. What are you going to do for the other 6 days? Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to church, so what are you doing? You know what I mean?
And, I haven't been in many churches much, but I can say that, again, we compare it to holidays where it turns into a keeping up with the Joneses at a church. You know, who showed up, who didn't show up, how much money did you put in the basket.
Bro, exactly, bro. It's like, this is the problem, and this is why the confidence of people are so down, because they're being judged by everything now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everything is like, bro, if I don't want to go to church, I had somebody tell me, one of my homies actually, tell me, this was crazy. He told me, if I don't believe in a Bible, I don't believe in God. I said, bro, what? I said, bro, no. If I don't believe in a Bible, I may not believe in your God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, but you got to understand, the Bible was rewritten so many times, bro. How do you know? Obviously, you have some depiction of real life in there, because anybody that's going off their mind is going to depict real life because they've been through these things. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's being rewritten mad times. So how can you trust something like that?
Right.
And how can you say just because somebody doesn't believe in the Bible that they don't believe in God? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's like it's jammed in their head like this is it. And if you don't believe in this or this is, then I can't fuck with you. And that's the problem. And that's why there's always going to be diversity. The government has literally made it to where it's always going to be diverse in everything that they do. It's been 100 years that they've been planting this shit in our head. You know what I mean? So it's never going to stop until it gets so bad enough that we all look ourselves in the face and be like, you know what? Maybe we should stick together for a little bit to get out of this. But we're not going to see that.
So I understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Our kids might see it, but we'll never see the right path of life. But our kids may, and their kids may.
Right.
But as us, we're like the soldiers in this. You know what I mean? We're fighting to make things right, and we always gonna be fighting until people wise up, man. But they keep on throwing things in front of us to keep staying dumb.
Well, think about this. Like something that has been curious to me. So every so often, I guess the past year and a half, 2 years, every couple of months they slide out information about UFOs.
Oh, dude.
So here's the thing. That like there's all sorts of different, opinions you could take on it. But one thing I noticed is that with everything else going on around us, whether governments, COVID, whatever it is, that they're releasing like information about possible UFOs and things,
right.
And we're barely reacting to it. If it was 10 years ago, people would be going nuts over UFOs.
Right.
But with everything else happening, we're like, okay.
It's like they choose when they want to leak information. They choose, like you know what I'm saying. It's a pick and choose thing. That's why you have to look at things as if, like, you can never look past something. So you got to look at something like it could be true. It's a possibility it can be true. You can never be like, oh, that's not true. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can't because you just don't know, bro. You don't know until you actually see it, until you actually feel it. So it's just like, I never look at somebody. When somebody tells me something and they say like, oh, da-da-da, I believe, I'm going to have some truth. I'm going to believe some truth into it. Because it's like, why would you say it? You know what I'm saying? Why would you say it?
Right. And why are you saying it now?
Because they depict the weather. And the weather is just not about, raining and snowing. The weather is about, like, how they control the community of people as a whole. You know what I mean? The weather is like, oh, this is popping right now, so let me direct everybody's attention on this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's getting too much. Let me direct it on this. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're directing people to do what... It's crazy. It's almost out of hand now. It's almost like it's definitely the dumb against the wise. You know what I mean? The dumb against the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the woke. You know what I mean? It's getting bad, bro. I think that's the real war. Like, if we want to focus on any war, I would focus on that type of war. You know what I mean? It's like I would try to get everybody on the same page and understand, like, like, money and all these things and, like, being a celebrity is, like, that's, like, the least of your worries. That's the least of your worries. You know what I mean? You should be building yourself as a person. You should be learning more about Earth, learning more about your time right now. Because who knows if this is a simulation or not. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. Life is crazy.
I mean, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. This is something I've recently been hearing about. What would your viewpoint be if they, let's say, were using celebrities to guide us as well?
Oh, for sure. Oh, they definitely do. They use them to promote certain things. So, like, I don't even know if we talked about this. I think we might have. I think we definitely talked about this in one podcast about when Kanye West was running for for president, and 2 Chainz, the rapper who was signed to Kanye West, did not even vote.
Yes.
Remember, he didn't even vote for him, or didn't.
That, yeah.
He went for Joe Biden. It was like, obviously, he was getting paid. Like, these people are getting paid to do these things. You know what I mean? And they're definitely directing it because, for some odd fucking reason, they made celebrities as like the token. I don't know fucking why, bro. And it's so sad. It saddens me. So it's like whatever they do, like I got friends that are women and they just look up to these people. It's like, bro, you don't know these people. You're not going to get the money and the lifestyle trying to keep up with these people. These people get paid for being on Instagram. You don't. Right. You know what I'm saying? They get paid for pictures leaking. You don't. You're wasting so much time on people that's actually getting paid for these things. You know what I mean? And you should be spending time on trying to build businesses with your actual family instead of arguing. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. We're, for the majority part, all brainwashed in some way. You know what I mean? So who knows what the truth is, bro?
I get sick out there.
But yeah, they absolutely control us. They control our emotions, man. They may do it with weather. They may do it with commercials.
When you say they do it with weather, are you talking about like?
Now I'm talking about actual weather.
Okay.
No, now I'm talking about like actual rain, actual like. I think they control us with that.
How so?
I don't know. I can't say.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there. I think they have these controlling mechanisms.
Well, they can control the weather.
So first, why both? You know, we both know they get the heart machine, but like one of my biggest things, it could be like 11 o'clock after 11
at night.
Yeah, at night. Why would you be promoting like food, like McDonald's, Burger King? If you're gonna promote food, why would you not be promoting like fruits? Like, you know what I mean? Maybe make a smoothie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Why would you be promoting like Domino's? Obviously, I understand these franchises are open, but why like promote it at night? You know, there has to be a limit to these things. These people can't be taking over everything. They have the Airstream all day. Why promote it at night when people are about to go to sleep, when that's the worst time you eat? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And motherfuckers got a full stomach of bullshit and wake up and then have breakfast. They didn't even give themselves enough time to fast. They had breakfast as soon as they wake up. When did you get a time to, you know what I mean? You didn't give yourself no time to breathe.
Yeah.
You didn't fast or anything. You just piled food up. So yeah, we're it's bad, bro. It's bad, bro.
Well, and you could make a whole chain link out of this and saying, so let's jump back to Instagram. You have a person looking at Instagram, seeing everybody who's quote unquote better than them, they think. They feel like they're never going to be able to keep up.
Right.
Not being able to keep up leads to depression.
Right, absolutely.
Depression leads to a screwed up sleep cycle,
yeah.
which is what gets you ordering Domino's at 11:30 at night.
And the only reason I'm saying this because I've personally been there. And not talk about me polarizing a celebrity or anything. I don't give a fuck about none of them. I'm talking about in the such of the depression of just feeling the change in the just people being unaware makes me depressed, because I'm a person that needs to communicate, and if I can't communicate with you because you're on your fucking phone all the time, you know what I mean? Like especially with women, like if I'm chilling with women, I love women, you know what I mean? Whether we're friends or actually like whatever, I have respect for women, and it's like during that time I don't want to be on the phone, like I don't want to be taking, like, you know what I mean? They're always on the phone, and it's just like, but then they'll be in the wrong to call such and such, but it's like, bro, you can't even really hold a conversation, you know what I mean? And that's probably what makes me depressed, is that I can't hold a conversation with the regular person, because it's just, one, they don't know how to communicate no more, two, they just communicate in a weird fashion that I'm just not, I'm not saying cool with, but it's just like I'm not used to it, you know what I mean? I'm used to just communicating in a certain way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's bad, man.
Well, and the less we communicate normally, the less we sit around and talk face to face. Like, we are going to lose those social skills. They're going to go.
I'm trying to tell you, it's like, I can't tell you how. Now, I'm not saying I don't get, like, I got a text message right now. I'm not saying I don't get text messages, da-da-da-da. But if I literally have nothing going on my phone, and it's like I'm sitting there, we're at a function, and I'm looking around, and everybody's on their phone, and it's drawing me to my phone, that shit right there is a depression. People don't even know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you looking at your phone is a depression, bro. Because it's like somebody's able to take your attention from, like, your reality like that is a depression. That's literally what depression is to me. Something that takes you away from reality and puts you in, like, a glimpse of, like, a trends that you can't get out.
Yeah,
you know?
People are junkies.
Yeah, exactly. It's all in the form of that, precisely.
What are your thoughts been on COVID lately? We talked about it in the last podcast, and that was sort of towards the middle of it. Now here we are.
Yeah, I thought of it like as I knew it was this. I'm not saying it was a fluke, but it was another distraction. Another thing that is being controlled for our emotions. You know, they had full aware of our emotions. Put your mask on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Stay in the crib. Don't do this. You can't drink no more at the bar without this. Like, or bars not open. Like, you know what I mean? They had full control of our emotions that whole time, and the such that while they were doing it, they were implementing new things. You know, it's crazy, bro. That's what control is. They get control of your mind, and then they start implementing new things, like cryptocurrency. Obviously, it's been around for a while, but now it's like the main thing.
Yeah.
Then there was times where they was just like, oh, we don't do cash no more. It's all cards. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, why would you want to? Like, I can't have cash, and that's a control of emotion. They're controlling you. You know what I mean?
And it's a little bit less freedom.
It's
like
a lot.
When you have cash on you,
you can do whatever.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, when you got card, now your transactions going into the database, into all the databases, and now you're being watched for what you do, what you buy, how you buy it, when you buy it. Like, you know what I mean? With cash, you don't know shit. Yeah. Here you go. Take that. I'm going. That's why in the olden days, motherfuckers like to use cash. You know what I mean? And they did not like to use, like, put their money in the bank. They like to have it at their crib or have it hounded somewhere. You know what I mean? Because that's just not something you trust.
Yeah.
But they're not going to teach that. And I think the problem is, as I'm getting older, and this is why I don't want to say I'm a lot quieter, but I would say I keep a mind to what I say and who I say it to, because it's just like, you don't want to waste your time. And I feel like a lot of times I'm just at an age where I'm just extremely intelligent. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying in the sense of bragging. I'm just saying that's how I feel. I feel like I'm in an intelligent stage where I just, everything I do is thought out, or it's thinking. Like, I'm always thinking. And I'm able to control it because I'm understanding, like, this is how I am. I'm a thinker. I'm someone that's going to try to see all sides of the field. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think as just people, we need to get control of our emotions back. You know what I mean? We need to control our emotions. We need to, I never say go back in the past, but if I'm all about the saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Yeah. And there was a lot of things that were good that came out of it that we should have never stopped doing. Mm-hmm. Like cell phones are cool, but them times of us going outside and interacting with people were about networking. We were learning networking. You know, you're not really learning networking on the phone because most people don't even own a business. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your networking is socializing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you're not socializing, if you're not making money while you're socializing, what are you doing at this point? You know? And I'll say that at any point in stage, but that's not really, like, accurate to say to somebody that's younger. But if you're, like, around our age and you're not thinking like that, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
And you're celebrating holidays.
Yeah. here's something that sticks out to me. So have you ever run across on social media artwork, or like a swiping bunch of artwork that the artwork is depicting modern life with phones? So maybe it's like a drawing of a bunch of zombies, but they have phones.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All
I know
these
what you're
different
saying.
things.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'd come across one of these posts, and I'm swiping through, like looking at all the artwork that is denigrating phones. Looking at the artwork on my phone, it's being posted on a platform on the phone. So you can almost, if you get yourself in the right mindset, trick yourself into thinking, so you're looking at this artwork denigrating phones, and you say, yeah, phones suck. Oh, you're looking at it on your phone.
Right.
So you think you're doing, or thinking, you believe that you're thinking in the right line of thought, but you're really not. But it's tricked you into it.
Now, would you say that's a mirage?
A mirage.
What's a mirage? Isn't a mirage like something that appears to be there, but it's really not?
Yeah. Definitely miraging yourself.
Yeah,
I guess.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all a mirage, bro. It's all a mirage. It's almost like, people see these things online and they try so hard to get what other people have, and then they get it, and it's just like, this is it?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You went that hard, but you wasted mad time. You wasted so much time that you could have been wasted on something that's actually valuable. You know what I mean? That's actually going to get you going towards somewhere for your spirit. You know what I mean? People are so worried about what's going to be on there physically, but like spiritually, you're fucked up. You know what I mean? You can have the nicest pair of clothes on, but you're in the worst mood ever. What's the point of that? You know what I mean? The people that actually like give a fuck about thinking and actually give a fuck about like why is this like this? Like I said, when we talk and when we say things, we stand out, but not in a good way. We look weird to people. We sound crazy to people, and it's just like that's why people don't like to speak up, because it's almost like whatever they say is not what the majority thinks. So if it's not what the majority thinks, they're gonna get backlash for not being with the majority, and that sucks. Because then you really just lost your freedom of speech. Even though they say it's a freedom of speech, you really ain't got that.
No.
And again, they start messing up our freedom of speech when they start controlling things. Now on Facebook, you can't say certain things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and what's extra evil about it to me is that, so not being able to say certain things maybe on Facebook or whatever it may be. It's a sensitive world now. Yeah. And not only is, let's say, the powers that be going to punish you for A, B, C, or D, but they have the court of public opinion on their side. The people will jump on you long before they get a chance to, and you either end up being what's like canceled or something along those lines.
I don't see how comedians are going to last. I truthfully don't. And if we don't have any comedians, if we're not allowed to express ourselves in a funny way, I just don't see how you're not going to be depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can never take away the freedom of speech. All you can really do is try to either understand it, you know what I mean? Or you can, I don't know. Yeah, you just got to understand it. You got to understand somebody's point of view. Why does somebody feel this way? You know what I'm saying? Opposed to like, oh, no, I should have never said that. Well, why did he say that? You know what I mean? Why did he feel the urge to say something like that? He could have used another word, but why did he use this word? Right. That word obviously holds some type of context. Why did he use it? You know? Or her. Yeah, but it's I just don't see how comedians are going to last, and that's horrible to even think, bro.
Yeah.
Because comedians are life. Being funny is everything. You know what I mean? Being able to crack a joke and understand that joke, and understanding that the joke behind, the context behind that joke isn't it's only as powerful as you take it.
Yeah.
That's what comedy is to me. It's like, it's only how do you perceive it. So when I was growing up, I grew up in New Jersey, and like, you know, when you're young, you just foul. Like, you don't know better. Mm-hmm. So I had a couple people talk about my mother, and at that time, my mom was with my brother's father, right? So I came to him with this problem, and he was just like, well, is your mother this and that? And I was like, no. And it was like, so that shouldn't affect you. And that stuck with me to this day, because it's like you control the power of a word. So if it's like, if you know that person, like if you know you're not this, what is the point?
Yeah.
If you know someone is calling you small eyes and your eyes are huge, it's almost, that's comedy in itself. Like, bro, what? Right. My eyes are huge. How's my, you know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, they can't keep our freedom of speech for too much longer. Because it's like, only two things can happen if you keep your hand on someone's mouth. Either someone's going to stop living, God forbid, or someone's going to bite your hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the people that are not willing to at least try to attempt to bite someone's hand are the people that are like brainwashed, you know what I mean? In a sense. Yeah. They're not willing to see what's on the other side. Mm-hmm. As a future goal, I wouldn't want to be put in a situation where I could almost like conduct some way to put people in a situation where they can have a freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? Whether on like a production company, like I will never stop fighting for what I want to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't understand how people do. I think when you continue to fight for what you want to do in life, you continue to have that spark to keep going. Because you always have a purpose, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think always if you reach the purpose of your goal, it will always be fulfilling, and that's the point of life, you know what I mean?
But if there's enough cushiness along the way and enough distractions along the way,
that's the point.
I think a lot more people are willing to have a short or instantaneous gratification rather than working
longevity.
Right.
Yeah. That's because that's what is presented in front of us. That's what life really is. It's so fast. Like, that's the whole point of social media and the internet. Everything happens so fast. So what ended up happening is, obviously, like on Facebook, there was a point where you went on Facebook, but you wouldn't bring Facebook out of Facebook, if that makes sense. Like, you would not bring the shit that's in Facebook out of the world. You would go back and play in the world. Yeah. Now, what the problem is, when you're on the social media, now you're on a Netflix, everything is so programmed to your life that it's like, when you go out into the real world, that's what you have to speak about. Oh, yeah. And it's like, we gotta...
Well, I heard somewhere, that this is a pretty good saying, that we used to go on the internet to escape the world. Right. Now, we go into the world to escape the internet.
Yeah. Right. Oh, wow. Shit. Damn, bro. You can't tell me shit like that. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. And then that's not good now because everybody has the guard up, too. Yeah. Everybody you talk to has like a little attitude or has like this little demeanor about them because they don't like, they made it so bad that the next person, you can't trust them. Like I always say, the most dangerous thing is not knowing the intentions of the next person. And that's so fucking true. And that's why you get out of relationships or friendships, because you never know what these people were really planning on doing. You know, and they might have been trying to plan this shit for 9 years until you were on your deathbed. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
it's been done.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Cheers. So it's just like, if I would give anybody any advice, I would give them, well, I would tell them, to really take care of yourself first. You know what I mean? I'm not saying shut the world off. I'm not saying not help anybody, but take care of yourself first. You know what I mean? Make sure that you're good. Make sure that you're happy. And make sure what you do in life, no matter when somebody tries to overt you to do something else, you always stay on your path. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's probably the main advice I would give somebody, is to worry about yourself and teach other people to worry about themselves. Because it's like you gotta let the attachments go.
And I'll add something else in, which was difficult for me to arrive at. So yes, you take care of yourself, take care of somebody else. But thirdly, I really am as I grow older, I'm beginning to learn that allowing somebody to take care of you is very important too. Like not in a 100% way, but allowing people to do for you.
Yeah, right. You must, because there are good, genuine people out there that really have the skill to nourish.
Right, and the feeling we get when we do something good, and we feel good. Right. Well, you have to allow those roles to be reversed to let the other person feel good.
Absolutely. And see, that right there, bro, I never even looked at shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Had that be planted in my life earlier or explained to me earlier, it probably would have saved me from making a lot of bonehead decisions in terms of building relationships. You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess you're never too old to learn.
No, and it was, there was a long amount of years where if people did something overtly good for me.
Come on, talk to me. Talk to us.
I would feel unworthy of it. I'd feel ashamed of it.
All right.
I wouldn't feel deserving. And my mood, my receiving it that way was beginning to get contagious.
Right.
And this one time, I was given, the bunch of things, and the girl I was with at the time, I was, my mood completely changed, and I was feeling all these things and was a little pissy. And she goes, "What are you on about? Like, somebody just did something nice for you."
Right.
And because you're so caught up,
stuck in that mood, you couldn't even acknowledge what was happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the first. Like, every once in a while, you need somebody to check you.
Right. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. And you know what? People don't like people that check them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't like to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that criticism. Like me, I said this before, and I said, like, I gave people 15 years of my life. Me being generous, me checking up on them, and the receiving end, I really didn't get too much of that love back. Now, me being 30, the next 15 is all me.
Yeah.
I check up on myself daily. If I'm not well, I'm not going to go around being around no one else. And if you make me feel a certain way, I'm not going to be around you. It's just because I learned my lesson in trying to let people excel more into what you think is like, oh, you got to see how they are. No, it's to the point, I'm 30 years old, I can pretty much read a person. You know what I mean? I pretty much know what type time you want. You know what I mean? I'm not saying fully, but I know what type time you are on a basis. So it's like, if I already feel some type of way, or if you move in some type of way and I see it, I'm not going to fuck with you at all. Not even a chance. I'm going to totally stay out of your direction. Because it's like, I don't want no problems, and I don't want none of that negative energy my way. So that I take care of myself. And it should always be about yourself. And that should never be taken as a selfish thing. Like, you give too much energy to the wrong people and to the wrong things. And you don't give enough energy on yourself. And
energy vampires.
Yeah. And social media and shit takes away the energy because it automatically makes you feel that you got to be a certain way, but you really don't. And I'm not saying it on no cliche weird shit, but it's like, stop. Do what's best for you, but you also got to know the consequences that come with this shit.
Right.
Right.
And not to mention that flipping through, more so now than ever, flipping through any form of social media, is an onslaught of bad news.
It's just weird, bro. It's not even like something that is even like I want to do anymore, bro. But it's like they made it to you have to have a social media platform if you have a business.
Yeah.
You have to. Because now you're doing like e-commerce and all this shit. It's like, you know what I mean? That's going to be the wave. And that shit sucks because it's like you're taking away from the one-on-one interaction with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're taking away from that shit. It's like you should never take away from that because you're just going to be literally building robots and the robots are going to be having robots. We're robots and, you know what I mean? They're going to be... It's just... It's tough, bro. It's almost like depressing to think about itself. You know?
Yeah. So, to head towards the end of this on a high note, what are some things right now? I'm
that's funny.
No, we're gonna flip out. We're gonna end with the positive.
Always. Yeah, we're not gonna get always negative.
We just talked about some of the problems of the world, and I know you're gonna have some good answers to this. But what are some things that you still find beautiful about the world?
Oh man. Women, you know, strong women that like to take a stand, you know what I mean, and have that, you know, independency. I still enjoy life. Like the other day I was walking past plants and I'm just like, damn, like how did they get this color pigment? You know what I'm saying? Like how does that happen? That's so dope. And to be able to realize that and to have joy in that made me happy. And just the evolution of things. If you really take your time to really look at the evolution of things, there are good things. Like there are good attributes of how the human race is going. And yeah. And you know, I don't really have to depend on smoking weed as much too. That's cool. I like to. I'm always gonna do it, but I don't have to depend on it.
Okay.
And creating. I think creating is the key to life. I would say if you're able to create in any way, you'll stay happy. You'll stay grounded. So I would say creating is the key to life.
Yeah. No, I had an instance about 2 weeks ago where I was spinning in pretty bad and I was like, just nothing too terrible, but my thoughts were getting dark.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. The mind can do that, bro. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was having trouble pulling myself out of it. I go into my room. I throw on the computer and just start watching music. Just watch music, listen to music, and man, it pulled me right out of it. Yeah. And it gives you, for me, it gives you hope. Gives hope and this thought that like, damn, like I'm on this planet at the same time.
Right.
This kind of art, that kind of art. Like I got to see this, like, and that's a reason to be hopeful and happy.
Right, absolutely. I feel like the mind.
Like, who knows what's coming?
Right, exactly. The mind has like two sides. It has like you chilling on the beach and you're on the surface and you're chilling, having a drink, and then there's times where you're fucking sinking. And you're at the bottom, you just feel yourself going almost like at the bottom of the ocean where it's fucking super fucking dark. And it's like mysterious creatures. This is like, it's insomnia. It's all, not insomnia. What's the word where you feel cluttered?
Claustrophobia?
Claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But yeah, in reality, I would tell people to really focus on their happiness. And even during the bad, try to understand. Not fully understand, but try to understand why certain things happen. Because if you try to understand that, I think that will help you control your emotions. Because you want to save your emotions, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Your aura wants to... You got to gather as much energy from the world. Because there's so much negative energy. You want to gather as much positive energy as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Word.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for doing the show again, man.
Word.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Planet Shivers podcast. Remember, you could find this episode and a whole lot more on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. Don't forget about YouTube. I want to thank Stephan for being on the show and providing another great conversation. He's been on the show a bunch. I recommend you go check out all the episodes that he comes on. Next week, the long-awaited appearance of comedian Tony Viagra. Tony will be on the Planet Shivers podcast in our next episode. I can't wait for you to hear it. Hey, I can't wait to hear it again. Don't forget, this coming Friday, my art will be at the Create and Be Art Studio in Stroudsburg. That's for the opening reception. It'll be there for a month. You can check out more of my work on Instagram at Albert Shivers and on Facebook, Albert Shivers. And don't forget, the podcast is now accepting tips on the Cash App, $ShiversArt. Thank you all so much for listening to this show. I appreciate every one of your ears that are pinned to this podcast when they get released. All the listeners help so much. And the last thing I want to say, as I always say, is take care of yourself and take care of somebody else and be well. And I'll catch you on the next episode.